Hello everyone, it's Mariners Fanatic back in the YouTube video, and in today's video, I'm going to be covering about a month's worth of transactions. We'll of course be talking about the AJ Pollock signing, the Justin Topa trade, and then other minor transactions that have occurred over the last month. First, talking about our most recent signing, and Jerry finally signed a free agent hitter, AJ Pollock, to a 1-year, $7 million deal. Pollock will split time in the outfield with Jared Kelenic in left field, as well as DH. This is a great pickup. Pollock is a solid bat with a good track record and career. He's had a lot of injuries in his past and hasn't really played very many full seasons, but we don't necessarily need a full 162 game season out of him. The goal is to have Pollock play about 110, 120 games, DH and platoon with Kelenic in left field. Worst case scenario, Kelenic struggles and just really never gets going, and Pollock plays a little bit more in left. But ideally, you want to save his legs as he's 35 years old and get him rotated into that DH spot. As I mentioned, I really like this pickup. Veteran player, solid track record, and a solid bat. He mashes left-handed pitching, which is Kelnic's weakness, so the platoon should work out great, and I'm excited to see how it does. This does likely mean that we are out of the Brian Reynolds sweepstakes. Toto probably decided that it was too expensive as far as prospect capital and player package to acquire Reynolds and decided to go a different route. There's still room to add another bat, and I think Jerry has mentioned they're still involved with some free agent and trade talks. So the offseason is not necessarily over, but there is about a month left until pitchers and catchers report in February, and as spring training comes around, there isn't that much time left to get a deal done before the season starts. Yes, trades can happen at any time, but most players like to feel comfortable and ready in a new environment, and you don't want trades to be happening during spring training or as the season is getting started. Obviously, the Winker and Suarez trade last year happened pretty close to the start of spring training, but it still gave both players time to adjust to the new team atmosphere. The Mariners traded for Justin Topa of the Milwaukee Brewers in exchange for Joseph Hernandez. Hernandez had a solid season in Modesto last year, good right-handed pitcher, but he's still in low A ball and has a long ways to go before he makes the big leagues. Topa does not have a strong track record so far in the big leagues, but he's barely pitched 20 innings, and there is a lot of time for him to still develop and become a solid relief pitcher. Topa throws hard, nearly 100 miles an hour with a sinker and a really good slider. Analytics guys love him, and I can see why just by watching a couple of his clips. The ball moves out of his hand, and I'm excited for this pickup. He may not have great stats so far in the big leagues, but this is a guy that could be developed, could be a diamond in the rough. So I'm going to grade the Topa trade as an A minus, only because we don't know what we're going to get from him. But I think this is a very solid pickup and under the radar move from Jerry to bolster the bullpen. Finally, moving into the other transactions that have happened over the last month, the Mariners have signed left-handed pitcher Blake Wyman to a minor league contract. We then claimed Chris Clark in the Rule 5 draft. He has to stay on the roster for the entirety of the season or he'll be returned back to the team that we drafted him from. Frankie Tostado was traded to the Washington Nationals. He's a right fielder, 24-year-old. Don't know much about him, but a very minor move there. Minor league pitchers Michael Flynn, Tommy Malone is back. Rodney Hutchison, Ryder Ryan, and Casey Sadler were all signed to minor league contracts. It's great to see Sadler and Malone back with us as they will bolster the bullpen and pitching depth in the upper levels of the minors. And then Brian O'Keefe is back, Jacob Nottingham is back, and Eric Stock was signed to a minor league contract as well. So those are all of our most recent transactions and just covering the Pollock signing and the Topa trade. I don't think Jerry is done yet. Still likely looking for a left-handed bat. I'm hoping maybe if we're out on the Reynolds trade that maybe we can get in on the Max Kepler market as he's on the table. The Twins have a lot of left-handed bats out in that outfield, and rumor is that Kepler is on the block. I would love to see Kepler in Seattle. Great defense, can play right field, and it would be able to help move Teoscar Hernandez to DH more often, as he's not as good of a defender as Kepler is. We're still looking for depth at the corner infield position. We could see a left-handed bat there to back up Ty France, although Evan White is still with the team and could very much recover. I'm really rooting for Evan White, but it's just difficult to see him coming back to form. But his defense is so good that if he could just get that bat turned around, he would be very, very useful for the big league club. Overall, I love the Pollock move and some of the other moves that Jerry has made over the last month. Obviously, a Reynolds trade would be fantastic, but I just don't see it happening at this point. Jerry will most likely be making moves to augment the team. Flexen could be on the move, or he could stay. One way or the other, Flexen will be useful to us either in the rotation or acquiring another piece for the lineup. So that's all I have for you today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Mariners Fanatic.